Whoa. I guess Green Lantern and a green screen just don't mix. Welcome! Another episode of Kevin's Commentary on Comics. So today I'm going to continue my look at subplots that occurred during the Bride of Ultron storyline. Previously I went through the entire review of the series itself. You can watch that here. And then I've also gone into talking about the Beast and the subplot going on with him during the Bride of Ultron. And you can see that here. So today I'm going to focus on yet another character whose development came into play during the Bride of Ultron, and that character's name is Wonder Man. So who is Wonder Man? Well, he first appeared in the Avengers number 9, way back in the Avengers number 9. At the time, he was a business rival to Tony Stark, who's also known as Iron Man, in case you didn't know. And if you didn't know, are you watching this? Why are you watching this? So Simon's business got into a little bit of trouble, and his brother, Eric, urged him to perhaps maybe do a little bit of embezzling, or some not so savory business moves. Unfortunately, Simon got caught and went to prison. But instead of blaming his brother Eric on all of this, he decided to blame Tony Stark. Not really sure why he would have thought that. So with the help of Baron Zemo and the Masters of Evil, Simon escaped prison. And then Zemo performed a procedure on Simon which gave him super strength and invulnerability. Zemo told Simon the only way he would stay alive is if he continued to get these treatments. So Simon got a costume and became Wonder Man. He befriended the Avengers and then turned on them. He even took Thor down in battle, but at the end, he had a change of heart, helped the Avengers, saved them from the Masters of Evil, and then ultimately died. Before he was buried, however, the Avengers went ahead and recorded his brain patterns. Now, I'm not sure this is a common thing to do when heroes die, or when anybody dies for that matter. I don't even know what you do to go about recording a brain pattern. And since this was Avengers number 9, what did they record them onto? Like a videotape? Betamax? Maybe an 8-track tape? Did they have an 8-track tape lying around that had Simon Williams' brain patterns on it? Maybe a reel-to-reel. A reel-to-reel makes sense. Yes, maybe that's it. Reel-to-reel. Okay, we'll go with reel-to-reel. All right. It turns out, however, that Simon was not actually dead, but in a death-like coma. You know, you really have to look out for those death-like comas. They can be really tricky, really hard to diagnose. Those brain patterns, by the way, were used by Ultron to create the Vision. Simon's brother, now known as the Grim Reaper, stole Simon's body in an attempt to bribe the Vision into becoming an ally to the Grim Reaper. Basically, he said, hey, you have his brain patterns, why not have the rest of his body? It's right here. Sounds like a perfect plan, doesn't it? Well, unfortunately for the Reaper, the Vision said, nah, that's okay. I'm good. Later, the Reaper had the Black Talon animate Simon's dead body and attack the Avengers. This occurred in Avengers 151 through 153. Wonder Man was revived fully and became a house guest to the Avengers. He helped out in a few battles, but really his character development came into play strongly within the Bride of Ultron storyline. So first of all, in Avengers 157, Simon and Wanda Maximoff, known as the Scarlet Witch, were out Christmas shopping because, you know, heroes have to do that too, right? And they were talking about the fact that since Simon and the Vision have the same brain patterns, they're practically identical twins. Well, now let's just hold on a second here. Identical twins. The Vision has red skin. Simon does not. The Vision is bald. Simon is not. I'm not really sure identical twins is right. Maybe more fraternal twins, if we will. I think that makes more sense. Now, it should be noted, years later, Simon falls in love with Wanda, and this interaction probably is the starting point for that love affair. Now, you know, Wanda is married to the Vision during this storyline, and it kind of makes sense that Simon would be attracted to Wanda since they do share the same brain synapses. In issue 158, when Avengers clash, the story opens up with Simon helping Wanda after their battle. Now, there is a little continuity goof here, because in this opening scene, you see Simon and Wanda in their full costume, but in the previous issue, they were fighting the Stone Black Knight in their regular, normal civilian clothes. Oops. Now, the Vision wasn't too fond of Wonder Man making moves on his wife, and he struck out at him. Now, during this fight, we hear that Wonder Man's fists hit as hard as Thor's hammer. In fact, every chance he gets, Wonder Man reminds us of this fact. The Vision does, however, manage to hurt Simon, and this really tends to piss Simon off. Sure, getting hurt would make anybody mad, but in Simon's case, when he gets hurt, he worries that perhaps he could get hurt more, to the point that maybe he would die, and he's already done that before. Really doesn't want to go through that again. Makes sense. Now, starting in issue 160, The Trial, Simon takes center stage along with the Vision, and we learn a lot more about Simon and his current phobias. At the start of the issue, the Black Panther ponders just what kind of being is Wonder Man now, and how could he truly be a man? So when the Grim Reaper enters, this is the first time Simon has ever seen his brother in a full costume, wielding a power scythe as he does. It was quite a family reunion, I'm sure. Now, Simon can't bring himself to strike out at his brother, and before you know it, the Reaper has defeated all of them, puts them into some sort of power shackles, and then puts the Vision and Wonder Man on trial, because only one of them can be Simon Williams, and this trial was to determine who was it going to be, and whoever it wasn't, he was going to die. Now, the Vision states he is not Simon Williams. He is his own being. He is unique, and he is content with that. So after Simon recounts his origin, the Reaper gets a bit soft and seems to accept the fact that Simon is truly his brother. But the Panther disagrees and voices his thoughts he had earlier about how it was that Simon was even alive, and what kind of man was he now? Simon gasps, You know? And then he rips off his goggles to show the power fluxing in his eyes. He admits he's not the same man he was and wasn't really sure exactly what he was now. And it scares him. It scares him. This is very important in his character development. Now, the Vision has had enough and states that if Simon has truly transcended humanity, then perhaps he, the Vision, and Simon were the true brothers, and Eric was not. The Reaper flips out at this and attempts to kill the rest of the team by activating the power shackles. Unfortunately, this doesn't work on Wonder Man, because guess what? He is not the same. His molecular structure has changed so much that the shackles, which were tuned to each member's molecular structure, just plain didn't work. It's funny because the Reaper mentioned that the team would tremble if they found out just where he got those shackles. Psst, it was Ultron. Bride of Ultron. See how all this tied together? Amazing. But like I said, the bands don't work on Wonder Man. He knocks out the Reaper, saves the day. The rest of the team is fine. The team leaves Simon to look over the knocked out Grim Reaper and think about what his brother has become, and more importantly, just what he has become. Whoops, looks like I've hit the end of my self-imposed limit to not make these commentaries any longer than 8 minutes if I can help it. So we will split this into 2 parts. Tune in next week for part 2 of my analysis of Wonder Man during the epic saga that is the Bride of Ultron. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out, and if you have any thoughts on what I've covered so far, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks!